Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for part 2 of The First Dance. And June and Stu are going to tell us a little bit more about their relationship and how they met.
We met in 2017. I guess that's 3 years.
We met in 2017?
Oh, originally?
Yeah.
Oh, so originally we met in 2007.
Yes.
And so 10 years later,
Yes.
we officially met. I was working a lot, and June, she kind of hit me up on LinkedIn and found I was in the Bay Area, and my boy Trav, hit me up. It was like, yo man, June's in town, dog. You need to hit her up. And I was busy working, and I had meant to kind of reach out on LinkedIn, and then I think we did. I think originally we did respond on LinkedIn and then exchange numbers because she didn't have my new number, and my number had changed, I guess, a couple of times from Orange County to like the Bay Area. So we talked numerous times. I remember one time I was like laying on the floor, and we always would talk about politics, about everything, and it would just feel like the same old June, just better, just older, more mature, sophisticated June that I got to know. And I was working a lot for the projects that I was working on. And, she just constantly was trying to like keep in touch and wanted to kind of, set up a dinner for me, and she cooked, and it was amazing. And I think that was definitely like the first time. I think it went from friendship to this must be a little bit more than that, because the green dress was was nice. So.
True. From my end, I was planning an event, and so Stuart agreed 100%. We met originally in 2007. He moved to California. We didn't talk for like 10 years, and then I came back to the Bay Area after living in DC, and after being here a year, a friend of mine, or sort of a new professional/personal contact, was like, hey, do you know anybody who works at Apple? And I told him, I don't know anybody who works at Apple. I was like, I'm thinking about one or two people that I went to undergrad with who I just happen to know because of LinkedIn or social media that they happen to work at Apple. But one night it dawned on me that I'd forgotten to get back to him. So I said, I've built this little community of Howard Law alums, which I was doing brunches for. Let me do an advanced search to find out who in my network is at Apple. And lo and behold, I come to find out that Stuart, and I literally aloud was like, I can't believe Stuart is in the Bay Area and has not hit me up. As if he should know that I'm in the Bay Area. I don't know how he would know. Yeah. But in my mind, he should know, and he should have hit me up. So that was exactly what I messaged him, was like, how are you going to be in the Bay Area and not hit me up? There was no pleasantries. There wasn't, how are you doing?
She slid in my LinkedIn.
Yeah, I did slide in his LinkedIn. And honestly, at that time, I presumed he was dating somebody. He would be with someone, of course, right? Like, the last time I talked to him. So in my mind, there was not any guess as to whether or not, for me, this was just friendship. I was like, he was super cool. I would love to reconnect and just see what's going on. And so I just hit him up because I wanted to let him know that we were planning this event for Black professionals in the Bay Area at the Rosewood. And also I just wanted to see how he was doing. So I knew he would be, I didn't know, but when he said, oh, I'm, just happen to be in town, or I'm like in Chicago, or I'm coming back from Chicago, I couldn't remember. And he didn't hit me back, and I was like, is this mic on? Like, what I loved about our initial meeting, or our reconnection, I should say, is that I felt completely comfortable just being myself. And like, I didn't have any doubts, and there wasn't any, oh, I have to like put on or something like that. I just kind of felt like I'm going to be who I am. He knows who I am. Yeah. So I don't have to, if anything, it was okay to be way more authentic than maybe I would have been. So that's how I would say we met. Me, Stuart has given me so many lessons, and it's hard to make one just great. I think about the importance of like hard work and sacrifice. I think Stuart has taught me the importance of that and really re-emphasized that for me. But one of the best things about our relationship in my eyes, or at least that comes to mind during this conversation, is that I never really doubt that he has my back. Like, he's kind of my safety net, emotionally, physically. Like, I don't doubt that he can hold me, and like hold space for me, and that he wants to be there for me, and he wants to support me, whether it's making sure that he can be in New Orleans, just for a day or two when he's in the midst of a project that causes him to be in a completely different city, or if it's a matter of like, hey, I know I'm running late because I'm commuting all the way from the South Bay to come to San Francisco for your talk, or whatever it is. I don't ever doubt, like, is he gonna be there? Is he gonna pick me up? Is he gonna whatever? It's not a matter of if for me. It's just, it's great to know that he's always there, and to have that support system it's like a great lesson in just realizing that like someone's presence alone can make a difference.
Yeah, I think I told her the other day that, I've grown stronger because of her, and when you have a partner, you have truly, I think all men, we have weaknesses, and women, I guess in some way do too, but we also have our strengths. But when you become one, you become, that yin and that yang, and it sort of perfectly merges together. And, definitely June has kind of allowed me to be, she is my rock, as Obama said, Michelle is his rock. And so, in the biblical, version, the meaning, it says, upon this rock I will build my church. And I'm not comparing, June to God or Jesus, but upon the rock, I think of human relationships, you need to have a foundation. And by me being in sort of construction, we all know in construction, if you don't have a solid foundation, the house will wither and will fall. And so for me, I have learned to, in being in a relationship and being with June, she's definitely strengthened me. And she said that I always know she has my back. And I know that she's only going to make me stronger. And so the things and I think that's the hard part of relationships, sometimes, you look at it as a critiquing, and it's actually strengthening. It's actually helping. And so you're only getting better and stronger. And I know Michelle did a lot to push Obama, or Barack, I should say. And then I feel that, definitely June pushes me and I push her. We push each other, and we are our yin and our yang. Yes. I think I learned that, kind of tailoring to that last question, is that all things are possible. And, you realize that sometimes, as you said, Black men, we doubt ourselves, and we don't like to say that. We try to put this macho, this alpha male personality up, that we can't fail, or we can't do wrong, or we're always right. And, I think that when you're with a partner, you do become vulnerable. You kind of open up, and she gets to see your ways. She gets to see your holes, and she's there to plug them and fill them up for you, so that you can be that strong person that you need to be. And I think, I think that when you find that particular right person, the journey is a very sort of easy journey. The road is, you can see yourself growing every day with this person, and you can see a lot of first. that you want to do with this person. And I think for me, I always wanted to have somebody that I can, you know, grow with. Like, if for instance, traveling. Like, we talked a little bit earlier about dating, and you know, when you're dating different people, you know, you go on a, you know, international trip, you know, the next year you want somebody else, you know. But when you're with a partner and somebody that you love, you're planning the next trip, and then you go to this international place. You're like, well, babe, why don't we think about buying here? You know, those are you have different conversations now. It's not just traveling. It's like, let's build an empire. Let's build an estate, and let's build different locations. What's next? So you're looking forward to the next year, and that's always a thought in your mind. Where I never had that thought when I was, you know, single. I was always like, okay, who can I take? That who is not there. It's when now. It's when are we going to this next location, and where? Yeah. Luckily, we don't have to say the how, because we've been lucky enough to be able to do those things. Yeah. And so, you know, I think that just growing. I hope I answered that question. Mm-hmm. I think just growing with your partner has been really beneficial to me. And I hope that all men can see that there's a beauty in growing with your partner.
What haven't I learned? I mean, knowing that we evolve, we're not the same person. I'm a strong believer that I'm not the same person today than I was a year ago, than I was 10 years ago, right? So I'm evolving. I'm getting to know myself better, and I'm also learning about this other amazing human being and what relationships do, whether they're romantic or familial or anything else. They're mirrors usually. So oftentimes your friends and your family who know you, that mirror becomes probably a little bit more murky because they have this built up relationship with you. There's a lot of memories, there's blood ties, there's like, you're my sister, you're my mom. So there's a lot more that goes into that. But someone who you love and you want to build a life with, that mirror can remind you of when you're not bringing your best, whether it's that you've had a hard day and maybe you need to fix your attitude a little bit and you're taking it out on this person. Or maybe it's that
it happens.
Or maybe it's that you are excited and you're happy and they are finding joy in the fact that you're excited and happy. So the mirror piece is truly a reflection of like, okay, what are the things that I am needing to work on for myself, and how can those improvements strengthen the bond that we have together? So one of the things that I learned about myself is I think I'm open. I think I'm an open book, but there's room to grow, right? Is that it's important to, what does it look like to sort of let your boundaries and your like guard down, and what does it mean to know that this person has you and they want to love you and they care about you and they're not going to judge you, and all of that good stuff. But maybe some of the things that you've gone through in your life, whether they be small traumas or just like everyday things, you don't want to share with this person because you don't think it really matters to them. But it's important to open up, and that like truly, what does it mean to like open your heart, open yourself up to a person so that they can really see who you are. And it's really uncomfortable to be seen, but truly, I think if you are with somebody who loves you and you care for them and they care for you, they want to see who you are completely, right? So I can remember I didn't want to show him my hair when I was washing my hair. Like, I don't want you to see all of this. Like, I gotta show you just like me being completely kept. like totally together. And
It's kind of like Martin Lawrence said, you know, when you dating somebody, like, when do y'all use the bathroom? You know, it was kind of like, you know, the first time you dating somebody, she would like, I would never know. Like, that's not possible.
Yes, it's literally like that.
it is true. So, but in some ways, there might be messages in society that give women the concept that they are not beautiful if they have their hair like when they first wash it, depending on what type of hair you have, or if you're not totally together, you don't have your makeup on. And so I do think it's great to know that one of the things that I've learned about myself is that I had room to grow in being open and just even accepting myself, right, for who I am, and knowing that you accept and love me for who I am. I would like to start this one just because
She wants to get it right and make sure I don't mess up no details.
No, baby. I knew very early on. And I can say that with confidence now because we are able to sit here and you've proposed and we're getting married this year. But it was probably right outside in Stuart's driveway area or street area where I realized he was talking to his neighbor who was 90 plus years old. And we planned on going to just have a catch-up dinner. We hadn't kissed at this point. There was no sort of mutual romantic feelings, but I definitely my interest was piqued. Let's put it that way.
She liked the kid.
I like the kid. So we were planning on having a catch-up dinner, but Stuart was out here because his neighbor had come over and wanted to sort of chat with him, see how the house was doing. Stuart travels a lot, right? So kind of wanted to check on him and see how he was doing. But his neighbor held him for kind of captive for maybe 30, 40, more like an hour. But Stuart...
Time doesn't matter.
Yeah. And he stood there patiently, entertaining and listening to him intently. We're so respectful, so kind. It made me realize I want somebody like you are the person I didn't even know. It was almost like you have those little cartoon little hearts. You know, it just melted my heart to see him having that level of like respect for your elders, but also just being kind and not rushing him. And he could have been like, I have somewhere to go. He really could have. And I'm sure he might not have wanted to stay for a whole hour. But I realized that was the quality of person that I wanted to be with. And it made me feel like that I wanted to marry him in that very moment.
Really?
I know.
Didn't know that.
I know. That's why I can say that now. I had to hold it in the whole time.
Talking to an old man got me the seal of the deal. To him for an hour.
No.
I think the thing for me of how I knew that June was the one was, my dad had always said, marriage is a lifelong commitment, and you want to make sure that you have a partner that you can ride with, talk to, be there for you through thick and thin. And I know that a lot of times, I think for me, I was struggling with that. Who can I find that can be my partner? Somebody that I can see myself with for the rest of my life. And I think for most people, that's always difficult. That's tough. And it's almost like you want to create this perfect person. But there is no perfect person. And what you have to have is somebody who, again, going back to that compatible, you want to have somebody that is compatible with you, that you can grow with. And my test in a way was I had been working really tough, really hard. I was working on a lot of projects. Didn't get a chance to do a lot of vacation. And by the time my boss had gave me another project that kind of pushed me into sort of November finishing that project. So at this point in time, I'm like, where do I go that's warm, that I can have enjoy my vacation and just take off. And so I was sitting on a plane one time and I was talking to a guy that was from Sydney, and it just sparked. He was like, you know, we're the opposite. So your winters are our summers. And I was like, perfect. I had enough points built up, decided to do enough research, and we looked everywhere. We ended up going to all over Australia. And it was 3 weeks of, man, I'm going to be with this person for 3 weeks. Let me see if this is the test.
Yeah,
If you can't travel, get on multiple planes, go around, you know, a foreign country, living in different hotels or all these things and eating, you know, some people just can't just eat, you know, have dinner together. Right? And so I said, look, you know, if we could do these 3 weeks and then also fly 16, 17 hours back, you know,
it was
longer.
I
22
don't
hours.
even know.
Yeah.
It felt longer.
Yeah. You know, if I can do this and, you know, we won't try and kill each other. If we can be, you know, and we didn't have not one fight at all. Like, we were, the whole time it was just love. And when I came back from that trip, I knew right then and there, I was like, this is my ride or die partner. This is somebody I can ride or die with, and I want to be with her for the rest of my life.
I can run, I can race for hours and hours and don't stop. I can float, I can fly to the highest mountain top. I can breathe you, I can drink in your life. I can live on your smile. I can trip and I can fall into your